Hey, you! Do you miss the golden days of the FIFA skilling community? Do you miss watching these YouTubers? Do you miss when skills actually used to work?
Yeah, boy, out me. Yeah, boy.
So, it's time for another wishlist video, this time talking about where skilling went wrong in FIFA. First on the checklist is defending. To be more specific, AI defending. This section is with much help from Bani 22, a very good skiller. He always submits to my top 5 goals of the week, so please do go check him out. But I thought it was important to take a proper skiller's point of view, since I thought I was a wannabe one back in the day, but I'm not half as good as these guys. Okay. So using his clips, we're going to analyze defending and how AI make it too easy to defend nowadays. It just makes football boring. It makes really the meta way to play this to drop back and play counter-attack. As someone that plays good level football in real life, the proper way to defend is to jockey and to not dive in and just force your player to make a mistake. However, when you're playing a video game, FIFA have made this way too prominent and actually too effective. Unlike other sport games like NBA or Madden, where your skills such as dropping your shoulder or doing a crossover in basketball actually take an effect onto the other player, FIFA makes it so the computer helps you way too much to guess the movements of your opponent. Of course, this is hard to get a balance. You don't want to make defending way too hard, but you don't want to make it too easy. Because at the moment, it really is just players just waiting for you to run into them and not even needing to click the tackle button.
Another issue, which are the AI tackles. Here you can see he didn't press the tackle button, but his defender was at the right place, the right time. Here again, a player he didn't control tackled me, and he gets the ball back.
A way that I think this can be fixed is by the fact that a player actually needs to click the tackle button for it to intercept the ball or take the ball off the player's possession. Because at the moment, some players literally just wait for you to do skills. And as Bani would say,
doesn't want to tackle me at all, and I'm basically air skilling.
We love the beautiful game, and at the moment it's just extremely hard to score beautiful goals since defending's too easy. Defending should be a skill. It should be a lot harder to just not dive in, because at the moment it's just a boring game. I'd much rather play a game where defending's super hard and some games end up being 6-7 than a boring ass game where it's like 1-0 and it comes down to basically when the computer decides to stop helping you. He's just like, oh no, Van Dijk, why are you playing him on? So next on the checklist is competitive. Esports has taken over the gaming community, and FIFA being the game of the most popular sport in the world, of course it would follow. Certain pros like Tech still show that skills can be used effectively, but even he thinks the game is trash.
The game is so unrewarding that anyone can win. Guys who aren't good can win on FIFA 20, and no one enjoys playing it, but you know.
Competition is really being chucked down our throats, with examples of FUT champions and division rivals. Especially with EA taking away the kickoff option that they had in previous FIFAs, where you could actually see the opponent's rating before you go into a game, which would help skillers come up against lesser opponents and lesser teams. Many will say that if the pros can score good goals, so should the skillers. But the fact that you don't even have a choice to play a less competitive game, then it just sounds unfair. It also makes the game stressful and repetitive. Back in the day, you were able to play cup competitions where it had restrictions, such as a bronze team or a silver team only, allowing not just skillers but the average player to get creative and make special teams to play against other teams that you don't normally see in the game, avoiding you from coming up against god squads all the time. So yes, these gamers are to play against lesser players with lesser teams, and people say this is a cheap way to get content. But look at freestyles in the real world, okay? They play against the public, getting nutmegs, and then they use smaller balls, such as futsal balls, which bounce less, meaning they are able to keep the ball more on the floor. It's the exact same thing, where they're just trying to produce content for their audience, which is scoring crazy goals with crazy flicks. Come on, not all freestylers can nutmeg the professionals. Okay, maybe some can. But regardless, most freestylers, if you put them in an 11-a-side pitch with a bunch of professionals, they're not going to stand out. And for me, it's the same concept with skilling. Skillers and YouTubers that are trying to do skilling compilations, they wouldn't beat pros and they wouldn't get top 100 in FUT champions. But that's not their speciality. Their speciality is to score crazy goals with crazy skills. And yes, they need to play against lesser opponents to get this content. But FIFA and EA have completely taken that content out. For example, making Brazil teams, stuff like that is impossible nowadays because there's a meta you must follow, and if you don't, you get left behind. On to our last checklist point, community. Unfortunately, the sad truth is that the community is dying. There aren't as many big YouTubers that literally just skill. Skill compilations don't get as many views, and everything just gets overshadowed by pack openings. Like, you search up FIFA 20 on YouTube, and skilling isn't even in the top 5 suggested categories. Unfortunately, this is bound to happen with a gameplay that makes it so hard to skill and score good goals. Skillers are forced to lose games to lower their division rating on division rivals, to then come up against people they can actually skill against or have a possibility to score good goals. That just leads to a stressful experience, and something that many people can't really go through. Personally, I wouldn't be able to do that. I hate losing as it is, and I wouldn't quit just to lose. So unfortunately, the community is dying because the game doesn't allow them to do what they want to do, and that's skill. Hope you enjoyed that video. This is my second wishlist video. Let me know what else you want me to talk about, and if you enjoy my content, make sure to check out my other stuff on the channel. Take care.